All right. I guess I'm ready. I'm not even wearing my hat today. That tells you what kind of crazy day it's been. Booyah. Get everything set up. So, hey, if you're watching this, let me turn on the speaker in the background. If you're watching this, you must know who I am or have a kind of clue, but let me introduce myself just in case you don't know. Hi, I am Louis Porter Jr. I run LPJ Design, and this is the latest episode of Transparency Agenda Daily for December the 20th, 2016. And today we're going to talk about building a third-party adventure path. And the reason I'm talking about this is because, hey, I enjoy doing fun and crazy things as a business person and someone who enjoys just this kind of stuff. So this is something I want to talk about. See, a lot of people don't always hear about the cool stuff that we do behind the scenes and all underground. And I thought this was one of those cool pieces that I think you'd find interesting. So a long time ago, roughly about almost 10 years ago, well, not 10, well, maybe like 8 years ago, I thought about doing a new campaign world because I'd already worked on New Exodus. I'd already put it out, and I was like, I didn't know where that was going to go. So I decided, hey, let me try something kind of cool. Let me pitch a really interesting idea. And I said, well, what kind of thing would I want to do? And I thought of what eventually became known as Pirates of the Bronze Sky. Pirates of the Bronze Sky basically was kind of my Starfinder pulp influenced homage to cool stuff. And that was basically the whole purpose of it. I wanted to do that line of material because I thought it was interesting and I thought people would like to see it. So I kind of was like, hey, let me start by doing some basic things. And I basically set it up kind of like the American Revolutionary War. And that was the look we were going for. Very colonial, very that whole look and feel. Look, I have a lot of great stuff back here. Don't worry about the stuff going on there, Tony. I'm sorry, Troy. Good Lord. So don't you worry about this. So I was just trying to do a really, really cool American Revolution setting. And so I basically kind of set it up with like the English and the Spanish and the French. I still believe that's correct. It's been a long time. Or did I do Germans instead? I can't remember. That's not important. What's important is that I was kind of influenced by the craziness that just naturally goes in my life on just making races. Because I was like, okay, we can do L's and stuff like that in this because this is kind of like that. And that wasn't a big deal. And I thought it would really work kind of well with it. That being said, we invented like two new races for the setting. One being based off of the Disney show Gargoyles. I'm a big fan of Gargoyles, always has been. I loved Gargoyles. If you don't know what Gargoyles is, just type in Gargoyles Disney and see if you can find some episodes and watch them. The first 5 episodes are amazing. That show was ahead of its time. It couldn't have been any better. I think it was just an amazing, amazing show. So from that one race came out. But the other race that came out was a race that we built that was really in the mindset to replace the gift from Starfinder. Not Starfinder, jeez. God, Starfinder. Slip of the mental tongue there. For Spelljammers. So I like the gift, and I was like, hippopotamus are really kind of cool, large, aggressive animals if you know their history. So I wanted something different. Oh, I think something just bit me. I wanted something different and interesting. And I kept saying, what kind of cool animals that I like a lot? And I like rhinos. If you did not know, I'm wearing an Echo shirt. It's got tons of rhinos on. So I like rhinos. And I was like, hey, how about do some rhinos? Rhinos are cool. No one's really done a lot of rhinos. I was like, I don't think they've ever done a good rhino man. And I was like, oh, cool. Rhino man would be very, very cool. And before you make some comments, I did not see the episode of Doctor Who with the Judon. I had not seen that one yet. So to see that later was very, very kind of jarring. And I really like Rhino Man. I thought Rhino Man would be cool. But then I said, what would make Rhino Man even cooler? Because, Rhino Men are cool. Just hey, it's a Rhino Man. You can go a lot of places with that. But then I said, I'd love to do something really that's never been done on Rhino Men. Let's give them 4 arms. So we have 4-armed Rhino Men. And that's just crazy in itself. I mean, let's just call it like it is. 4-armed Rhino Men sound like, oh, this is something that is insane and people would like to see. So basically, I came up with that, and at the time, I think we had a name for it, and I wanted kind of an English-sounding name. Not too English, but English enough that people would be like, oh, okay, I understand what that means. I don't know how to spell that. And that's always like a thing, easy to spell. That's always been a thing for me. All my races must be easy to spell because God knows people, Jesus Christ. Yes, Rocksteady might have been an influence. Maybe I didn't know. So then also on top of that, I had to add another cool feature to them that made them extremely unique. And the piece that made them unique, I said, let's make them Scottish, because God knows, Scottish four-armed rhino man has everything you want in a cool factor. So I'm putting a picture up. You'll probably see it. If you're watching on Facebook, actually, let me put it on. I can do it. Can I do it here? Oh, no, I have to. Oh, I can't do it. Damn it. I can't do it on YouTube. Wish I could have, but I can't. So I'll go back to Facebook. So on Facebook, it has a link to the image in the thread here, so you'll see it. But four-armed rhino men are the most awesome thing ever. And we decided to go a little crazy. So we did that whole four-armed rhino men, and I kept saying, oh, I'm going to come back to it. And then Pirates stalled. We sold to somebody else. We brought it back in-house. It's been in development hell. I don't think Pirates will ever get developed the way I wanted to. It's just something that's like one day we'll get to it, but I don't know when that day is. I don't know how that day is. All I know is that four-armed rhino men are cool, and people like the idea of four-armed rhino men. So we went with that. Flash forward to about, I don't even know, a couple weeks ago, I kept thinking, I'd really like to do a sequel to our Chronicle of the Gatekeepers. If you've never seen Chronicle of the Gatekeepers, I got to put a link for that too. Jesus, I just realized that. Chronicles of Gatekeepers is a adventure series that was written by the very impressive Michael McCarthy, and he did an amazing job. I mean, just really amazing job on some crazy idea of something that I wanted to do. And he's like, yes, we can do that. And it's never good when people who are really good writers, really great writers, say, yes, I can do that, with a smile on their face, not realizing that you're going to do something that's really awesome. But, you're thinking like, it's going to be probably okay. He's like, no, it's going to be awesome. And he wrote an awesome adventure. I'm going to call it a campaign. We've been calling it a campaign serial. It is awesome. Actually, I'm going to send a link for all of it here, because I am doing 3 things at once. I like doing that here. Here's a link for it in the thread. Of course, in Facebook, see why Facebook's important. So you get to see it there. I put it in there so you can see it on RPG Now. This adventure series is just something we did together. We worked together. It was like, but I wanted to find ways to break up adventures in different unique ways, and this is one of them. So with that, we got this. It did very, very well. It got a lot of 5 stars. We actually got a 4-star on this. And one of our adventures got a 4-star. And basically the way it worked, this is the simple premise, and I think people understand it very quickly. We basically had a beginning adventure, which we called the Alpha. We had an end adventure we called the Omega. And then we added in, 6 side treks into it. So you play the Alpha adventure, you play the Omega adventure, and that would be the whole thing, if you wanted to play it that way. Or you could play the Alpha and maybe 2 of the side treks, or maybe the Alpha and 1 of the side treks, or maybe the Alpha and all 6 side treks. You got to play the middle part as detailed as you wanted, or as little as you wanted. It was just the main part, beginning, and the end that were the mandatory. Everything in the middle was just helping to flesh out the world more and more. And I thought it was a brilliant idea. I'm not going to lie. It was a brilliant idea because I'm a cocky son of a bitch, and that's just where I work. But I thought it was a brilliant idea. And I think a lot of people liked the idea of it. It sold very well, did very well for us. It was one of those ones that did very well. Just all in out, a great series for me as a business person. It's kind of the same logic we used when we were doing the Crisis of the World Leader, and it's the same kind of setup. That was it. So I'm sitting around, and of course, I get the hardback in for Neo Exodus, and I'm like, boy, I'd love to do another adventure for Neo Exodus. I'm like, I really like Neo Exodus a lot. I'm very impressed with the book we did. I'm very impressed with the work that was done. Geez, I'd like to do something cool that people would really, really like. I mean, what would people like to see? What would get them excited to see as a group? I mean, it's just like, what would it be? What would get them, their blood boiled? So I kicked around the idea. I said, we should do a sequel. We should do a sequel to Chronicles, because the way Chronicles worked out is that we basically set it up that, I don't want to ruin it for you, but that's actually kind of the main piece. But though I think we mentioned it in the description, so it's kind of okay. Yeah, You travel, okay, in the series you start off on the world of Exodus, but it's really just a travel around Exodus, the home world for New Exodus, to see stuff, and then you wind up traveling to the city of Atlantis. That's right, the city of Atlantis on Earth. Paizo made it possible that Pathfinder traveled to Earth, so we said, hey, why can't we travel to Earth from New Exodus? I mean, we've got a big gateway system. It can travel there. What's the problem? Why don't we do that? So that's what we did. So we had that whole thing. So I'm sitting there going, geez, I'd love to do a sequel, of course, to the old Gatekeepers. And I kept thinking, what if we set it up that during the Omega adventure, years later, these Rhino men that we call, did I even say what I call them? They call them the Calathon. I don't even know why we call them the Calathon. Name just popped in my head. Calathon. I'm like, that's the name we're going with. I don't even know how it just came in my head. So we went with it. And I was like, wow, Calathon. These guys are cool. Who doesn't think four-armed Scottish Rhino men are not cool? So we took that, and I'm thinking, we'll have them invade Atlantis, and they can steal some of the tech, and they'll go on a wilding spree. And I don't mean really wilding spree, more like we're invading. Because originally, the Calathon were basically mercenaries for other empires in Pirates of the Bronze Sky. And I even used them also in the Kickstarter that failed, Cross of Fire. They were actually involved, one of the main big parts. One of their airships crash landed in this large city, and it was defending. It was actually a great idea, but it didn't get funded, so we didn't do it. That's just how it works around here. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. So I thought we could do the same thing with the Calathon for a whole new which I've been calling Revenge of the Gatekeepers, but it kind of makes sense. I may even call it Wrath, but I'm still debating because Wrath is such a good name and people like Wrath. But Revenge is kind of cool because if you read the first adventure, you know how that would be kind of a cool thing. But whatever. So I'm still debating with these Calathons and doing that. So this basically comes back to, doing an adventure path in a different sort of way. I think Paizo has locked down the idea of adventure paths as being 6 of them, and they're very big and like that. That's why we did the different thing with Chronicles. We wanted to finally do our adventure path, but in a different way. I think as a publisher and as a creative person, I've got to find ways to separate myself from what the normal people would consider standard, things like that. And the adventure paths, doing it as, like I said, we had Alpha and Omega and the side treks. That was very helpful to us and made us stand out in a very unique way. And I'm thankful that we did it, but I think, great idea. It was a great idea. And by God, freaking, I can't give Michael McCarthy enough credit. He really did an awesome, awesome, awesome job on this book. It is great. It is amazing. It's a lot of fun. And so, yeah, we're probably going to do, it's our own little spin on it for something else because, why not? It's awesome. Why not do something cool and, put it together and put it out there? So expect to see something like that in the near future. And I use the word near future like in a vague term, like very near future, because I know how we work. So there you go. And, probably even some updates on the original. Like I'm looking at the original collected version that we did that I put into one PDF. And, I could put this out like this, but I still think it needs a couple little things to make it even cooler. You know how this goes. You do cool stuff. We want to just do cooler stuff. So it's only natural. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. I'm thankful for everybody who's involved with this on this whole project. It was just, just an amazing thing to do. So that was it for me. I think this kind of stuff is great. I think people, will like this kind of stuff. So if you're a small company and you want to do your own little adventure path, I say do it. Start something small. Start with a very small, maybe 3 adventures. That's your adventure path. Boom, boom, boom. And it doesn't have to be like these super over grand things. Just tell a good story. Tell a good story that people will be interested and want to play. And even better, want to play until they're friends that they played it, because that in itself is really what it's about. You want people to come and go, oh my God, I played this thing and it was so good. You won't believe what happened. Blah, blah, blah. That's what we're all doing. I mean, that's what our Patreon is. I mean, point blank. The Patreon we're doing is that adventure path for us to get people interested in what we're doing and how exciting it is. So we're kind of focusing on that. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good idea. It's a good long-term idea. And just something you think about when you are a small company. Something to be creative. Damn, it has been 15 minutes and I didn't even realize it. So That's it. I'm getting out of here. As always, subscribe to our page. We always appreciate that on YouTube. And if you can't subscribe, always come by Monday through Thursday at 9 o'clock here on our Facebook page and check out and see what we're doing. I've now got to leave you because I've got to make a very important phone call and talk some business with a very influential person, not in this industry, but another one. So this is going to be a lot of fun for me. It's been a good week for me. Been a good week. And it's going to be a great week because it is Christmas. So as always, thank you for watching, taking the time out. I really do appreciate it. You all have a good night, and I will talk to you all later.